Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio. Education for all, for all, for all. Education for all, for all, for all.
My name is Alhaji Mohammed Alhassan Karim. Welcome to T2T Radio. Today we are going to discuss a very important topic. The topic is importance and or relevance of education for children with disabilities. With me to discuss this very important topic are from my right,
Shaibu Naima from Song, Karaga District.
Yakubu Abdel Karim, a teacher at Ngwelgu, Nantong District.
I'm Matu Akankikuju, community volunteer teacher, Kolo EA Primary School.
I'm Mohamed Sani Idrisu, teacher at Sonji Primary, Karaga District.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome. When we say children with disabilities, what are we referring to? What can we do to also ensure that our parents and caregivers either have attention to these children with special education needs or give them the needed support? Let's start with Mr. Shani. Those with special education needs. What can you say about them?
Well, all these people have something that they can still learn in school. Because education is not just about learning how to read and write or do basic mathematics. No. Learning how to eat, how to dress, how to talk, all these things, and even how to socialize with their colleagues. All these things are what we term as education. So once such a child is enrolled, he or she gets to learn all these things, both at home and then in the school.
Very good, especially in terms of socialization.
In terms of socialization.
Mr. Kujo, do you have something to add to that?
Yeah.
Children with special education needs.
The children with special needs in our schools, I will hammer much on we the teachers. When you happen to have such a child in your class who is suffering from maybe long-sightedness or short-sightedness, always try as much as possible to bring the child closer to you. So it will not be like you are punishing the child, because knowing that the child cannot see, and then you intentionally ask the child to go sitting far away from you. I think that isn't the best. So let's always try as much as possible. Help these students when they are learning to get something out of every lesson that is being taught in the class.
Okay. Mr. Abdul Karim, you have something to add?
This particular group of people, hardly will a parent be able to identify a child who cannot sit at one place. Hardly will a parent or a caregiver be able to identify whether a child's vision is clear. So that is why it is important or a must on every parent or a caregiver to send his or her ward to school when the child is of school-going age.
Yeah.
So mostly it is only the seeing abilities or hearing or maybe amputated arm we can be able to see and realize the child is having disabilities in the body. Yeah. But for some of the other disabilities, like the one you have just mentioned, it is only school that you can send the child to, and the teachers will be able to identify such problem and get remedies for it because they are specially trained in handling those kids.
Yeah, especially the special education needs department.
That is it.
They are capable of noticing such disabilities. Those children with special education needs, if they are able to detect that early, they are able to provide the needed support services to help the child, learn and then become what he or she should be. So these are very good examples. Let's give Madam Naima the chance to also say something on the special education needs children. Yeah.
Thank you, Alhaji. To add to what they have all said, I'm much particular about the teachers. Yeah, I'll be pleading with my colleague teachers. They should give them more attention.
Very good.
More attention to the special education children because They need the attention. They need more attention more than the other children.
Teach to Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio. Education for all, for all, for all.
We have parents or caregivers who look at sick people and they believe that it's not necessary for them to send them to school. Do you agree with this kind of belief?
Actually, some of them may be thinking sending them to school will just be a waste of time and resource. But that is maybe because they are not aware of the special education organized for people with such disabilities. Because they are not aware of it, they may not even think the child will be able to get educated in life again. So it is better we create the awareness that there are schools organized specially for those with such disabilities. And every child of school-going age in Ghana is having the right from the Constitution to be educated. So there is a need for every parent or a caregiver who happen to have such a child in the house to try and send that child to school to also be educated.
I just want to have more information about that. Do you have some of the perceptions or the beliefs that they have? Yeah.
Just to chip in, for the fear of stigmatization, many parents don't see the need of taking their children to school. Because many believe his colleagues or other people in the school will make mockery of them. They will not want them to come closer to them. So because of that, many parents believe he or she is my child. Let me keep the person in the house instead of taking them to school for all these things to happen to my child. And many also believe that if I take this my child to school, who is suffering from maybe mental illness, the person might end up causing harm in the school. And that will fetch much from his pocket.
Teach to Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio. Education for all, for all, for all.
Why is it important to send said children to school?
There are so many benefits you get when you send a disabled child to school. Number one, the child will be able to fit into the society. Fitting into the society means after the child completion of school, maybe he or she was in the house doing nothing, maybe causing trouble for people. After mingling with his peers, maybe when he comes back home, he will change his way of behavior or a way of behavior towards children at home or even children in school.
There are certain instances that some parents even go to the extent of locking up said children in the rooms. What are some consequences of that if you keep on doing that and you don't send him or her to school?
If a parent is fan of doing this, I think you are denying the child's rights in some way. Because there should be a freedom of movement and a right to education. So here the case, if you have locked the child inside a room, I don't think you get a teacher to come in to the house to train the child properly. So any parent who is fan of doing this or caregiver who is fan of doing this, I think is sitting on the right of the child, and which is not good.
Mr. Kujo, can you tell us more of the importance of sending such a child to school, particularly children with special education needs and with disabilities?
Yes. There are many importance of taking such a child if you have one to school.
Yeah.
Because many of them, if they are able to take them to school and they succeed, these people become role models within the society in which they are coming from. Okay. Many are likely to look up to them and then do more. Assuming if someone who cannot see or cannot walk is able to become a very prominent person, you that who can see, I think you can do more than what the person has done. So I think these are people many will be looking at in the society. So they will be looking at them as role models. If you are one of the disabled person, you will look at them, or even if you are not, you look at, oh, if Mr. Abdullah with one leg he can do this, why can't I do the same?
Good. Come to talk of role models. Can we give examples of such people who have made it in life? Like someone has certain disabilities, irrespective of the disability, the person has become somebody who even other people depend on. We have examples of such in our communities.
Yes, we have. We have Alasan Abudu the Fire, who is not far from us. He's also a northerner.
From which community?
He's from Nyampala community.
Okay.
He's a northerner. He works at Sagani TV, where everybody sees him. He's a radio presenter as well, so we can look up to him.
Any other
example? Or we can see him as a role model.
We have in both the Fifth and Sixth Republic, under John Mahama-led administration, he appointed one lawyer, Henry Seydou Dana, as the Chieftaincy and Traditional Affairs Minister. And we have under Nanado, he also appointed the Oti Regional Minister, who is also a disabled person. I think that's what I can say on that.
Yeah, can we, Sakujo, do you have an example for us?
Yes.
Yeah.
In my community, this man, there's one disabled person, Mr. Abdullah. He is the current constituency treasurer.
Okay. Of which party?
MPP. The ruling party.
Okay.
And then he's also working at audit service, Northern Region. So
that's
I
great.
think these
are very good examples. Yes, Mr. Shane.
Yes.
I can see you are nodding your head. It means there's an example that you want
it means we have so many of those people in life. And the person I would like to talk about is Prince Mahama, who is a teacher and then a musician as well. Though he is also a disabled person, but he made it through in life, even bigger than those who are not disabled.
Teach to Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio. Education for all, for all, for all.
Your last submissions. Let's start from Mr. Shani.
Yes, what I would like to say is education is for all. Education is not for an individual group of people. Education is for everyone, irrespective of your physical or your mental abilities. So parents, I encourage parents to send their wards, be it disabled or normal. They should all have access to education and have a feel of what education looks like, so that they can also become respectable and then good people in life.
What I have to say is, government has made a lot of provisions for children with disability. So schools have been built for such children. One is in Savulugu, one is in Wa, and one is in Mampong. So if you are a parent and your child is disabled, you can quickly take the person to any of these schools, and then government will take care of them. So in the future they can become future leaders and then give back to the society. For the fear of security, there are a lot of things, provisions made for these special children. Transportation, communication now is easier. So if you're a parent and then your fear is that if I take my child to such a school, I might lose contact, I think it's out of ignorance. So you can do well and then take your child to these schools, and then I think your child is secured.
Safe. Yeah.
For me, my own is a plea to both parents and teachers as well. We are teaching them, and sometimes the behaviors of some teachers do scare parents away from sending such children to school. Do not treat them like they are not part of us. When they come with a child with that special education needs, receive that child properly, and even let that person know that it is never a case giving birth to such a child.
Good.
I like to plead with parents of such children. They should please send their disabled children to school, to please accept children with disabilities, not to drive them away when they are coming near to us, and also not to deprive them of using certain facilities in the school. They are just like us, and we should treat them as such. Like the saying goes, disability is not inability.
If I would have liked to continue this discussion, but time is not on our side. Some have been able to make it. So if they are able to make it, why not? Your child with disability can also make it. So please, do not lock up your child in the room. Make sure he or she goes to school and benefit from schooling, just like Prince Mahama, Afahu, the fire, and all others who have made it in life. Particularly, so long as Ghana is concerned, we have a lot of them to cite as examples. Please take note of this and do not deny your children with disability from gaining what they have to gain from schooling. But with me for the discussion, again, Mr. Shani, Mr. Kuju, Mr. Abdul Karim, and Madam Naima, thank you for coming. We are very much glad for your support.
Teach to Teach Radio. Teach to Teach Radio.
Hi, this is Wiyala. I support Teach to Teach because education changes lives, especially for girls. So let's take advantage of the positive impact education can have on our lives, our communities, and our people.
Teach to Teach Radio. Apagababo, adababo, mejansigini.